Hello and welcome to the Daily Draft, where we take Magic one draft at a time. My name is Morgan, and this is a vintage cube draft. That's it. This is the Lotus Mox, not Time Vault, unfortunately, not Time Vault, but you know, the most powerful draft format in Magic Online existence. So we are going to get started as soon as one more person joins this queue, and we're gonna see what fun stuff we can draft because this is Swiss, and we're gonna go for, we're in it for fun and also upheaval, mostly upheaval. All right, let's see what we've got here. So we've got a couple of sweet options. Normally, when you're in a vintage cube draft, you're looking for a powerful ramp, you're looking for mana fixing, and you're looking for powerful card draw spells. There's also a Bitter Blossom here that could do a lot of work for us. Rakdos' Return is a pretty sweet card. I think we just take Rofellos though. Rofellos can ramp pretty hard. Like, it goes from 2 mana to 6. And he is encouraging one of the more fair strategies, but I think it's better than Bitter Blossom, although I might be wrong if Skull Clamp is in the format. We're going to take Rofellos, though. Alright, so this is another Signet format. There's the Skull Clamp. I think we actually take it over like Mana Drain and Awakening Zone. If we wheel the Awakening Zone, we're going to be very happy. Same for Elves of Deep Shadow. Skull Clamp just draws a bunch of cards, so I think we take it. Yeah, again, Signet format, so people are going to be doing powerful stuff no matter what you do. I like this person's avatar. Unfamiliar, Corona, the false god. Sweet, but wrong, because she's false. Anyway. Alright, so here we have a Bayou, a Freyalise, a Trinket Mage, which gets the Skull Clamp, which actually might be worth picking here. Dimir Signet, Hedron Archive. I could see actually picking up Freyalise, or Trinket Mage. Yeah, Velder's pretty good too, but I feel like that will wheel. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Planeswalker here. In addition, Freyalise also makes Skull Clamp fodder, and I think that's basically our strat right now. Just Skull Clamp things. Alright, we have a couple of options here. We can do Garruk, Caller of Beasts. Garruk draws lots of cards. He's also pretty expensive. Breeding Pool is good. Windswept Teeth is fine. Pattern of Rebirth is pretty sweet. We could also just do Foff. Spectral Procession works well with Skull Clamp, but I'd like to stay green. I think it's between Foff, Garruk, Breeding Pool, and Windswept Heath. Pattern of Rebirth, actually. Oh. I think we take Foff. Foff is very powerful, especially when your deck is just entirely good spells. Alright, so here we could take Kiora, we could take Mindslaver or Tezzeret. Basalt Monolith is a huge amount of ramp. I think we just want Ponder though. The cheap manipulation is pretty important. And, you know, you always want to be in blue in this format anyway. Basalt Monolith is a huge amount of ramp though. Okay, so here could take Palinchron, could take Beast Within. I'm just going to take the Signet though. Partially because I'm not quite sure whether we're actually going to end up in green or not. We haven't been getting a lot of green, so I think Izzet Signet is a good backup plan. In addition, I think that it was probably just the best card in the pack, and I like picking up Signets when I get the chance. Okay, so my options here are Underground Sea, Battlesphere, or Courser of Crewfix, or Hinterland Harbor. Hinterland Harbor is mana fixing, but it doesn't actually add forest mana for Rofalos. Underground Sea is something that you can get with a fetch land. I think Courser of Crewfix is it though, because Courser of Crewfix just provides so much value. Here we're gonna get Green Sun Zenith. Green Sun Zenith adds a lot of consistency to your green decks. Search your library for a green creature card with converted mana cost X or less, put it onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. And then you shuffle Green Sun Zenith into your library, which is pretty good. There was a Tendrils in there. By the way, Storm is sort of a thing in this format. It's not really, trust me, but they offer you cards that have the Storm mechanic on them. I don't recommend taking them. Alright, we wheeled not a lot. Could take Necro. I'm just gonna take Daze. Daze is not a card that I want to play, but it's a card that I could see playing. So, cool. We wheeled the Awakening Zone. Definitely gonna take that because it synergizes so well with Skull Clamp. I like Thirst for Knowledge a lot too, but yeah, we're gonna take the Awakening Zone. Alright, we wheeled Ophiomancer, Yavelder, and Bayou, which is just a crazy amount of value. Ophiomancer, super good with Skull Clamp because it makes a bunch of, like, tokens. Bayou is actually probably just better. Yeah, we're gonna take the Bayou. We wheeled Pattern, too. That's awesome. Now we need a creature to search out with it. Tezzeret's sweet. So is Wall, I guess. But we're gonna take Tezzeret because Planeswalkers, man. So green appears to be open, although we did not wield the Elves of Deep Shadow, worth noting. Song of the Dryads, Enchanted Permanent, is a colorless forest land. So it's basically Path to Exile, but 3 mana and sorcery speed, and really cool art. So let's see. No power. There's a Yawgmoth's Will. Shelldhawk Isle is probably just the best card in this pack. It is a bit of a gamble. See, Shelldhawk Isle is strong, but some people don't realize it's super strong. So you could wheel it. Is that something I want to do? Not particularly. I think I just take the Garruk, though. Excuse me. Garruk allows you to have some late game inevitability. Is it better than Shelldhawk Isle? Probably. Well, also, in Cube, I prefer Planeswalkers. Wow, okay. So we're just taking the Mox here. There's a Tinker in this pack, a Birds. Steam Vents is pretty good. But being able to, like, power out Courser of Crewfix, for example, is pretty strong. Here we have a Primeval Titan available to us, Murderous Cut, Gruul Signet, Solemn Simulacrum. There's a lot of options. Caracas is pretty sweet, although there's a lot less legendary creatures in this cube than in the last cube. I think we take the Primeval Titan, because we have a lot of ramp. Here, there's a Den Protector, a Treasure Cruise. Treasure Cruise is sweet. And an Elvish Mystic. I'm not sure how good Treasure Cruise actually is in this format. I'm going to take the Elvish Mystic. We're probably not playing this Tezzeret BT dubs. Because in decks like this, you really want to have mana acceleration. Especially when it's like Elvish Mystic that can be skull clamped. Here, there's a Sylvan Library, Willful Primus. I'm just gonna take the Polluted Delta though. There's a Brain Freeze and an LED for the Storm deck. Another reason to pick up duels like Bayou or Overgrown Tomb or whatever is because then fetch lands are much better. So even if I don't end up playing black, but I do end up playing blue, Polluted Delta can get me a blue land or a green land, which is pretty great. Alright, we found a win condition, kids. There's also an Emrakul in this pack, a Staff of Domination, which is infinite mana with Rofellos, and a Time Twister. But I think we just want the Crater Hoof Behemoth because we want to be able to win the game somehow. Here, there's an Absence Pilgrim. There's also a Sword of Feast and Famine though, and this card just wrecks our deck, but swords are pretty powerful in my experience in Cube, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it. Here we could take a Reclamation Sage or a Wall of Roots. And this is actually a big question because there are a lot of sweet artifacts and enchantments in this format, so I think I just want the Reclamation Sage card. Card name here. Alright, so we wield Yawgmoth's Will, Temple of Malady. Stunted Growth, which is a pretty sweet card, but we do have 2 powerful plays at 5 already. I think I just want this Temple of Malady. Yawgmoth's Will is pretty sweet, but it's mostly a storm card, and playing it for value doesn't appeal to me that much. Temple of Malady is good because you can, in a deck like this, fixing your draws is pretty important because if you get the wrong half of your deck, you're kind of in trouble. We also wield Birds, which is pretty great. Thada's sweet, but we don't really have this deck set up for it. Crater's Claws is fine, but we do want another 1-mana accelerant, especially one that fixes our colored mana. And even though our only 2 blue cards are Ponder and Factor Fiction right now, it's still pretty nice to have. Frantic Search is sweet, but I think I just take the Karakas because there are some pretty good legendary creatures in this cube. For example, the Emrakul that we passed when we picked up Crater Hoof Behemoth. I guess I pick up Domri. Well, I don't really have that many creatures. I'll pick up the Temple. Like, that way at least I have mana fixing. Oh, sweet. We wield the Woodfall Primus, which is great. This card is fantastic. Especially when you have things like Pattern of Rebirth. Alright, Isoground Scepter. Not something that we really need. Neither is a Johnny, although, I don't know, I could play white. I've not really committed to a second color. Like, Foff is sweet. I like Foff. Oh man, they fixed it! They fixed it! We can move around cards again! I'm so excited, you guys. Alright, you guys need to hurry up and make your picks, friend. Taylor Swift. Taylor, love your music, but also Lottery. Lottery needs to make their picks ASAP. So we opened Elishnorn, an Ancient Tomb, along with a Savannah, Tassiger, Whisperwood Elemental, and Eureka. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Elishnorn, especially since I already have some mana fixing for it. Or lands, I guess you could say. And, this card is super good in the ramp decks. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and take it. Probably not gonna play Foff or Ponder now. Excuse me. Alright, so there's a Sylvan Caryatid here. There's also a Selesnya Signet. Selesnya Signet fixes for Elishnorn, but Sylvan Caryatid is a creature, which could be kind of important. Moat is pretty interesting. I think I want the Selesnya Signet because I'm fairly certain I can wheel the Caryatid. Also, signets are important because you can cast them off color moxen. There is an Oath of Druids, which is probably not the best in our deck. There's a Golgari Signet, an Orzhov Signet, a Nature's Claim, and a Sun Petal Grove. I'm just gonna go ahead and take the Orzhov Signet, I suppose. We're just gonna have so many signets, we might not even have to play this Izzet one. Path to Exile was a great pickup for us. It's a removal spell in a deck that doesn't really usually get a lot of removal spells. Darmelka's Command is also pretty sweet, but Path to Exile is just super efficient. So, Memory Jar is sweet. You just draw 7. There's also a Blightsteel Colossus that we could probably ramp into. Avenger of Zendikar is also a potential ramp target. This card usually doesn't go into this late. I think we take Avenger because it curves into Crater Hoof very well, but if we didn't have Crater Hoof, I would definitely take or the Blightsteel Colossus. Probably. Maybe. Yeah, probably not, but There's a ritual. There's not a lot going on in this pack, is there? I mean, I guess I take the Tomb in case we pick up a late... I don't know. I don't know what we would take, what we'd get, but I don't... But we can fetch it with Polluted Delta, so that's all it... Oh, man. Tooth and Nail. Yes, please. Tooth and Nail is in the 9-drop that I have been searching for all my life. Probably not gonna need these guys, but... So Wolfear Silverheart is really hard to deal with for some people. Show and Tell's hilarious. I think we just want Marsh Flats, though. There's a Bolt in this pack, too? Goodness. Marsh Flats is a good reason to have these guys, the Overgrown Tomb and the Bayou, because Marsh Flats can get green or white. Do I want a Pulse more than I want a Savannah? Not particularly. Wield the Sylvan Caryatid. Sweet. Progenitus is actually pretty sweet in this deck, with Pattern of Rebirth and Tooth and Nail, and Green Sun Zenith. For real. I'll cut the Izzet Signet. This here. I'll take the Dramoka's Command. We'll probably sideboard it, though. That sneak attack can go over there. Deck is sweet. Got this Tooth and Nail card. Dark Ritual. Cabal Ritual. Man, we could have been Storm. Okay, dear people who are going to comment, we could have had a sweet Storm deck. Yes, but we have a sweet green deck instead. I think we cut the Delta. We don't really need it. Cut the Temple. Also don't really particularly want that. Call it a day, right? So 24 mana sources plus 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't nearly have enough mana elves. Do we cut like Primeval Titan? We could cut Song of the Dryads, but that seems bad. We could cut Avenger Zendikar, but that also seems bad. We could cut Garrick or Fraley's. That also seems bad. Huh. I think we actually just cut Song of the Dryads and add basics. No, thank you. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white sources. 7, 8, 9 actually. Yeah, we're fine. Why did it want me to add blue? Oh, Progenitus. Got it. Alright, so deck sweet. I'll see you guys in round 1.